Good evening, my friend. Welcome to the show. I am Lou Mangello. It is Wednesday night, my favorite night of the week, because I get to spend it with you. If you're watching live, thank you so much for being here. Please don't forget to go grab a snack, get comfortable, grab your blanket, turn on the air conditioner, whatever you got to do, and tag and invite a new friend, maybe that's not joining us tonight, in the comments. If you're watching on the replay, don't forget to join us every Wednesday right here at 7:30 p.m. for WDW Radio Live. I was talking to somebody earlier today about the power of live video and the importance of live video, and how there is something that as the I don't even like the word used, broadcaster, as the guy on this side of the camera, there is something that is so energizing about doing live video. Today wasn't the best day for me. A lot of stuff just sort of, it's 2020 and it's like, oh, July's coming. Let's just throw some other stuff out there. Nothing major. And, it sort of, we're all going through it, like on an outside the window and sort of inside our own homes. Lots of stuff going on, but there's something about that countdown to being here and then seeing you in the box, in this clubhouse that you have helped build, that it fills my cup, it fills my soul, and puts a smile on my face. And oh, by the way, happy Canada Day. You don't have to be Canadian to enjoy Canada Day and all the great things that have come out of Canada. William Shatner, Pam Anderson, poutine, ketchup, potato chip. I mean, there's a lot of things, but those are some of the first, in no particular order. Actually, I'd probably put poutine over poutine and William Shatner. Anyway, happy Canada Day. I don't even know what you're celebrating. It doesn't matter, because I think in 2020, we just need reasons to celebrate anything, anytime. And for me, I'm celebrating you. I'm celebrating your friendship and seeing you. I have to put my glasses on to see people in the box. So good seeing you. Zach Brown from the Zach Brown Show podcast. Go on your little phone, right, this thing. Go subscribe to the Zach Brown podcast, and he's a good guy doing good things. So Matthew Woolley says it's the best night of the week. I agree with him, man. It is my favorite night. You would think it would be Saturday or Fridays. Not for me. It's always going to be Wednesday nights. So celebrating poutine, there's nothing there's nothing wrong. Every day should be a day to celebrate poutine. Also, I'm celebrating Jeff C. is here. I love that guy. Best beard in the business. Whatever business that may be, that's the guy with the best beard. And he's got manly Pinterest tips. And Jeff, have you guys launched your new show yet? If so, link it up, man. It's talking about good people doing good things. Jeff and Eric have a new podcast coming out too. Carlos Eduardo Silva. I'm trying to speak Portuguese and I can't. You don't need to speak. Well, I guess you do need to speak Portuguese to enjoy what he does over at Ponto Orlando and PontoMiami.com. I'm all about spreading the love today, right? It's a little bit of a love fest today. And actually, we're going to talk just very briefly. I've thought recently about just touching on some of the noteworthy news. And that's why I said, what's new? It's what's news, sort of. Obviously, talking about the countdown is on. The countdown is on to Thursday, July 9th. If you are an annual pass holder and were able to get in to the annual pass holder preview day on Thursday, July 9th, let me know in the comments, more importantly, which park did you pick? Annual pass holders had an opportunity to register, and I know this is a bit of a difficult subject because obviously not everybody is able to get in. It's a limited event, and it did fill up, from what I understand, in like 20 minutes or so. I was very fortunate. I got up and was refreshing very early, was able to get in. I'm going to Magic Kingdom on Thursday the 9th. And I'm going to tell you, I am excited and I'm nervous. And I'm not nervous because of anything having to do with COVID or cleanliness or protocol. None of that. I'm nervous because it's like seeing this is the worst analogy ever, Mangello. It's like seeing an old girlfriend, right? Like you miss her so much, but you're so nervous to see her again. Like, what am I going to wear? I have to make sure my hair. And I know that it's going to hit me on an emotional level because I felt it at Springs. I felt it at the Polynesian. I've been feeling it just even sort of watching videos as we're sort of getting closer to it. And I'm ecstatic about it. It's like being a kid and you know your Walt Disney World trip is coming up, and you're just like, you're all packed, you're ready to go to the airport, and you can't sleep the night before. That's this feeling I'm going to have for the next week, sort of this inability to sleep. And I was talking to somebody earlier today, like, that feeling still has never gone away. And I think being absent for so long, it's made me even more excited about it. And for those who are not able to go there, I want to take you with me in any way that I can. So, of course, I am going to be live on, I don't know what else to call it other than reopening day, Thursday, July 9th. The gates open at 9 a.m. I'm planning on getting there very early. Maybe we'll start live broadcasting around 8:30 because I want you to share in the full experience with me from beginning to end. I want to hear that opening announcement. I want to walk through that gates with you. And look, I'm going to apologize in advance because, again, whatever sort of weird hormonal, emotional thing that I'm going through, I expect fully to be emotional when I'm back there again. And I was talking to some people recently about it, and there's a couple of things that I've really been trying to drive home, both here on live, on social, on Facebook, on the podcast. For any of you who may be going on the 9th, whether you're going on the 11th to Epcot on the 15th, if you've got a trip planned July 31st, August, September, whatever it might be, I need you, I implore you to not just pack your mask and everything else that you need, but please, please, please be patient. Be patient. This is all new for all of us, especially the cast members who are both excited and probably nervous, many of whom are being retrained in brand new roles. When they open up those gates, it's into the unknown. I'm trying to bring in any quote that I can. We are very much all going into the unknown. We don't know as guests what to expect. My expectation levels are very, very low, right? I don't expect every attraction, every shop, every restaurant to be open. Certainly not in the way that they were when they closed the gates just a few months ago. So I'm going in with relatively low expectations. For me, this is me personally. I don't need to ride a single thing. Maybe the TTA. I don't need to ride a single thing. I just want to be back there. I want to be back in that environment. I want to close my eyes. I want to hear that music. I want to see the castle with my own eyes, not oversaturated Photoshop pictures on Twitter. I'm talking to you. I want to see that castle. I want to see the cast members. That's the reason why I'm going, right? I just want to walk around and just be in that place again. So if you are going, be patient. If you are watching from a distance, and look, it doesn't have to be me. I mean, I'd prefer it to be. And if not, tell me why so I can improve. If you're watching somebody else, if you're watching on social, please be understanding, right? Be understanding. Not everybody's going to necessarily go in with that same attitude. Be understanding of what you might see and that things might not be perfect, right? They probably won't be because nobody's done this before, right? Know that they are doing the very best that they can to make our, as guests, experience as truly magical and special and memorable as they can be, given what they have to work with. So be patient, be understanding, and please, for the love of Walt, be kind. Like, those are tenets you should live by, like, every single day, just in general. But when it comes to the 9th, when it comes to the 11th, when it comes to the 15th, when it comes to Disneyland opening, when it comes to, be patient, be understanding, and be kind. And especially if you are going to be in the parks, know that, we're all in this together. Like, we're all trying to figure this out and get through it together. Be grateful for the fact that the gates are open again. And it is one total Disney Nerds feeling about how I am approaching the 9th. If you know me, you know I am a positive person. I'm going to make lemonade from lemons. I'm going to choose the good. I'm going to find look, man, if I can walk in on the 9th and I can only stay in Town Square, I will make the most out of every second that I have to do that. And whether you're watching live or whether you are there in person, just choose the good, find the good, be extra kind to the cast members who may be nervous, who may be like overwhelmed. There's going to be a lot of people there. And I don't mean to sound preachy, and I apologize. It was not my intent to do so. I've just been thinking about my personal experience and how I want to share it with you, right? Which is why I'm going to be live starting at 8:30. Look, if I can be live all day, all night, I will. I have no idea what to expect going in, but I am going to tell you that I want to spend and share it with you. And all I ask is that if there's something you want to see, if there's something you want to do, let me know. Also, do me a favor. Share this out. Invite a friend. Tag a friend. I think the more, the merrier. Again, I think the more people that we invite to this clubhouse, the better. And I love how each week I see, the clubhouse not only continuing to go on, but to grow. And I see new names and new faces in here. I see old names and faces I haven't seen in a long time. Like, I know, Jim, you're always here. Danielle, it's been a long, long time since I've seen you. It's great to see you back again. And I hope that next week from Magic Kingdom, as well as every week, even, in my stupid toy-filled home office, I hope that this is a little bit of a bright light, a little bit of positivity in your day, and satisfies your food cravings, because inevitably the conversation is going to turn to food. One conversation that did not, I think this may be a record, one conversation that I think did not turn to food at all was our discussion of the top 10 Disney villains this week. I tried to segue as seamlessly as I could. Top 10 Disney villains, had a lot of fun with little Timmy Foster and little Nicholas Mongello talking about our favorite, baddest, best villains from the Disney, Marvel, and Star Wars universe. Top 10, as you know, is a misnomer. It was a very interesting discussion. Hopefully you learned a little something along the way. I'm not saying to come fight me on the list. I'm saying let me know who we left off, who you agree with, who you don't, and why. If you go into the Box People group on Facebook, we have a discussion going there. And again, invite your friends to not only listen and comment as well. Invariably, whenever I post a top 10 list, usually the first comments are like, my God, Mongello, how did you possibly forget so-and-so? And I've gotten that a few times, and I've had to look up some of the so-and-sos because I don't know who they are. But we try to restrict it as much as we could to a top 10, but I will stand firm. I am unwavering in my choice for the number one top 10 baddest Disney villain. And I'm not going to tell you who it is in case you haven't listened. I'm hoping that's a compelling reason enough too, but I certainly want to hear your thoughts as to who you feel the best of the best or the worst of the worst Disney villains is, and why. And yeah, we even talk about theme songs. Chernabog as probably the best theme song, and I think my number one, I think has a theme song unlike anybody else's in the Disney cinematic universe, live or otherwise. Becky Menken from MEI and Mouse Fan Travel says, you have a podcast? What? See, Becky, there's no need for that unkindness. This is where you can really, whatever. So Ryan Donahoe from Forcecast says, the hate of Yippee in this episode was appalling. Listen, Ryan, as hardcore of a Star Wars fan as you are, you cannot give any love to the Yippies. Jake Lloyd, again, not going to blame you because you were a kid, but good Gandhi, man. That's a tough scene to watch. I was almost about to do my really bad Watto impression, but I don't. Kevin Lively, I know, man. I left Bowler Hat Guy out of it. Bowler Hat Guy was in contention to make the list, but hopefully if you listened, you will see he was barely edged out by a couple of other baddies. And I think part of the reason why Bowler Hat Guy didn't make it was not just because of his motivation and his backstory. There's a lot of sympathy for Bowler Hat Guy, but I think the breadth and the scope of his villainy did not necessarily extend out. So, when you have Thanos killing trillions and some other guys just mercilessly, with evil intent in their hearts, doing things, you know what? And that's a compliment to little Bowler Hat Guy, little Bowler Hat Kid. as it were. So, but yes, I still hate the yippee. So, a lot of love for Scar in here as well. Some of you, the villains that you're mentioning are interesting. No, Becky Menken nor her puppet are villains in my eyes. Patricia Knapp, I am going to cry. Listen, Patricia, I'm crying at everything lately, so it's not going to surprise me that I'm going to be a blithering mess when I get to Magic Kingdom next week. Chris says I need to check it out to see if Sark or Maximilian made it. Chris, I'm going to tell you that, and I'm not going to spoil it for you because I want you to listen because every download counts, but there were some villains that came really, really close to making it, and I sort of had to do this internal monologue and debate before I even sort of went on the air, as it were, as to why I was taking them off. And I actually had a lot of these listed, but in the interest of time, because the show was already like crazy long, I didn't even bring them up. Sark and Maximilian were in my notes. I will not tell you whether or not they made the list or not. I'm begging for him just to listen at this point. So, Derek says I'm going to cry for my first taste of popcorn. Caleb Joshua Hill's looking for Peg Leg Pete going super old school. Christopher Gagny's looking for the Horn King from Black Cauldron. Another, again, a movie that does not get a lot of love. But yeah, hopefully I'll learn something too. Listen, I think this is probably the first podcast I've ever done where I've quoted Shakespeare. I think I mentioned, I don't want to give too much away, but there's discussions of Othello. There's discussions of Iago. I don't mean Iago, the excellent sidekick to somebody who is on the list, but I mean Iago, the character from Shakespeare. So I tried to class the joint up a little bit this week by bringing a little discussion of Shakespeare. We talk about Walt Disney, really sort of going into the deep psychological, sociological stuff for each of the characters. So what's the first snack I'm going to get on the 9th? Caitlin, so, at 8:30 in the morning, 9 o'clock in the morning, it's going to be tough. I sort of want popcorn to be the first thing I put in my mouth, but I don't know. Jim Rohoski's going to tear up at the Poly for breakfast. My friend, I'm going to tell you that you probably are, because when you step foot back on property again, and there's something eerie about it because so few people are there. It's okay, man. It's okay to get a little lump in the throat. I'm comfortable enough in my manhood to say that, I get a little weepy here and there. So Tracy wants a Cheshire Tail. And look, to be clear, I do not expect at all for all of the food service locations to be open. And I don't know anything in advance. I want to, very clear disclaimer. I know nothing, but I'm setting my expectation levels accordingly. Think back to when Disney Springs opened. Every shop, every restaurant, every kiosk was not open. What would make you think that the same would not be true for Magic Kingdom? So if the Citrus Swirl and Dole Whip location aren't open, if I can't get every little snack, or the lunching pad isn't serving the incredible jalapeno, not that they ever served jalapeno cream cheese pretzels, but if they're not serving their cream cheese pretzels, will I be disappointed? Sure. Will I be thrilled that I'm standing in Tomorrowland? You better believe it. And again, patient, kind, understanding. So right now my plans are I'm going to be there on the 9th. I will be there on the 11th at Magic Kingdom again. And I do plan on being in Epcot on Wednesday the 15th for Epcot's opening day. And oh, by the way, it just so happens to be the opening of the, what is it? A bite of Epcot food and a taste of Epcot, a sample, whatever they're calling it. I'm forgetting right now, but it's the Taste of Epcot Food and Wine Festival. So again, I don't expect it to be a full-blown festival, but even an abbreviated version, I look forward to be. Look, Epcot is where I was when I heard the news that Disney was closing in the first place. Magic Kingdom was the last place that I was on its closing day, so it's appropriate that Magic Kingdom and Epcot are two of the first places that I go when they do reopen again. So Aaron says you can stream from a bench in Magic Kingdom, and I would be happy. Aaron, there's a good chance that I do stream from a bench in Magic Kingdom. So Heather wants something from the Jolly Holiday Bakery in Disneyland. I agree. Chicken waffle sandwiches. Matthew, that's a good call right there. Chicken waffle sandwich and the Nutella berry sandwich, which is healthy because it's hazelnuts and fruit. And that's just the way I rationalize it for myself. So Zach just wants to take in the Main Street, smell the pirate water, and enjoy the breezeway clickety-clack of the Wedway People Mover. Brother, I'm with you on all that, and hopefully we will be there together. Paul Clark says just go for the fruit. It's technically not called Nutella. It's a hazelnut fruit waffle. So is it the longest for not visiting a park? Yeah, man. I think for a lot of us, especially who are locals, this is certainly, without a doubt, this has been 100 and some odd days before since any of us have been able to be there. So Magic Kingdom on the 9th, Magic Kingdom on the 11th, Epcot on the 15th. And obviously what we're going to see too is as we start to, and from what I understand, this is how it's going to work. Once you enter a park, as soon as your admission is taken, you will be able to go into the app and then go back and add that third day. As annual pass holders, you'll be able to make that third day reservation. So I'm going to keep on trying to fill in gaps in days and get additional days as I can, because I really want to try and bring you broadcasts from each of the parks, if possible. So, and cheers, by the way, from my Marvel Day at Sea cup. Well, wait, I wasn't even thinking about this, but speaking of Marvel Day at Sea, don't forget that if you are jonesing to get on a cruise as much as I am, we are still doing our Marvel Day at Sea cruise, January 23rd through the 28th. I want you to come with me. I'm speaking specifically. You know who you are. I'm talking to you. I want you to come with us. Go to wdwradio.com/Marvel Cruise. Look, this could be us. This could be us on deck 4, just looking out over the water. And I'm not saying, again, this is the worst Photoshop ever, and I would probably be the guy in the Spider-Man costume / onesie anyway. So, but yeah, hopefully you can join us. Ryan says, I've already booked my 3 spots, Galaxy's Edge next month. I cannot wait any longer. Dude, you're going to get choked up when you walk back in, and we'll see things how things are going on Batu. So hopefully the David Potts wants that picture framed. No, nobody wants to see that picture again. They don't want to see that Photoshop picture. They certainly don't want to see a picture of what I would look like really out there as well. Tacey Atkinson says, I think it's time for me to book that cruise. I miss the ships more than the world. I think, Tacey, I very much agree with you. And I think when the ability to cruise opens back up again, I feel comfortable not just going to Springs, to the resorts, to the parks. I certainly feel safe going on cruise line because, one, the cruises were some of the safest, cleanest places because so many protocols were already in place. And look, I don't want to, when these cruises open up again, there will be so many people I think that will not be cruising. I think the ships are going to be empty. So you're going to sort of have that cruise all to yourself. And if you do, tell them Lou sent you when you go to Mouse Fan Travel, because Becky and her team will help you get quotes for cruises, not just for our Marvel Day at Sea cruise, but any other cruise that you might. I'm not sure what just happened. I'm assuming that we're back and live. Sorry, technical difficulties on this side. Becky, we have to think about another cruise on the Wonder, specifically because I miss the French Quarter Lounge so much. Top 10 places that I love on this may be my top 5 live next week. Top 5 places I love on Disney Cruise Line. Somebody email me that, write that down, because I'm going to forget it. But I think that's going to be my top 5 next week. So Disney Cruise Line, we are coming back for you. And I can't. Oh, wait a second. I'm getting not the right mic. Wait a minute. Let's try that. Mic is out. Better? better or worse? My mic is off. It's coming through the computer. Listen, this is what happens. This is part of the reason why I love live, because this is the kind of stuff that goes on. There's technical difficulties. It is the most authentic that you will possibly ever get from me or anybody else, which is kind of why I love it. Speaking of which, by the way, I'm not the only guy that goes live. I mean, hopefully you continue to watch on Wednesdays, because don't forget that weekdays, and I believe right now it's Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 12 p.m., my buddy Jason Knapp from Here with the Magic does Here with the Magic Live. He takes you to different locations throughout Walt Disney World Resort every single time. Last week, he took us to Aulani, which I sort of dug. Very cool. And he also brings a little bit of personality and some great conversation there. So grab your lunch, nuke your leftover Chinese food, and come join the fun there. And don't forget, too, my friend Amanda Bonner from Disney Travel for All. You should go check her out and her podcast at Disney Travel for All. She's doing some live chats as well. Her next one is going to be this Monday, July 6th at 8 p.m. at DisneyTravelForAll.com/live. Amanda does awesome stuff because she's an awesome person. A lot of discussion on solo travel. And I believe, if I remember correctly, Amanda likes to call this like happy hour. So grab your favorite insert whatever here, whether it's cocktail, snack, ice cream, whatever, and come join the fun over at DisneyTravelForAll.com/live. There you go. I think that's it. I think that's Mark Jones says, I love the lunch break. I love the lunch break too. Jason Knapp, not a bad fella. So Becky Menken says, Marvel Day, see if you're nervous about booking, our group falls under the new flexible policy. You can move your cruise up, to April 2020 without penalty. You can move it up to 15 days prior to sailing. So that's great news, because you can book it without any worry about if something happens. If you don't feel comfortable as you get closer, you can move it with no penalty. And again, that's why having an agent in your corner and on your side is incredibly, incredibly helpful. Ooh, sorry, parched today. So we shall see. Wait a second. Kelly Lawrence says National Hug Day was Monday. Kelly Lawrence, I owe you at least one, if not more hugs. Listen, if you're a hugger like me, it's been a long time, and I'm speaking directly to you. I miss the hugs. I will tell you that if you're comfortable giving them, if you're comfortable getting them, I'm comfortable giving them. So for some of you, get ready, because I'm coming in hot for hugs. So Darren says we have a placeholder from our last cruise. Can we use that towards this group cruise? Becky can definitely answer that question for you, or you guys can get into a private conversation. We need to move National Hug Day up. Ryan, I'm going to tell you that when the meets of the month come back, that's going to be my version of National Hug Day, because it's what I'm missing. And Amanda, I get it. This is a tough time to live alone. So I think I know what I'm doing here. Sorry. Kelly Lawrence, yeah, I'm coming in hot for hugs. Like, I'm bringing it. I've been safe. I'm clear. I will dispense hand sanitizer as much as I can, but that's why I'm losing my mind. Lack of hugs. Becky, there's a lot of reasons why I'm losing my mind. Lack of hugs is only part of it. So you get a hug. Jim Rohowski, poor Jim Rohowski, moves down here, finally makes the move, takes the leap of faith, cannot wait to get together with friends, and they shut down Disney World. Jim, I think our meal at Kona Cafe was one of like the last sit-down meals I had on property. So Nicole says it is only 130 degrees out, so stay hydrated. And especially when you start going to the parks and stuff with your masks on, it's going to be even more important to do so then. So yeah, so don't forget Marvel Day at Sea, and next Thursday we'll be live. Do me a favor, please help spread the word. Let other people know about it as well. But it is time for, I don't want to even call it the next segment. One of the things I love doing as I get, each week, I was thinking about what I'm going to see and what I'm going to do when I go back to the parks. And I just said, the attractions don't matter. And if I had to go somewhere first, it would probably be the TTA. But then I was like, where else would I go? Like, what else do I want to see? And I started thinking about places that I would go, and maybe they weren't the ones that are the e-ticket roller coaster attractions. Like, it's about going to see old friends. And some of those old friends are you, like human beings that I want to see in person. And some of those old friends come in other formats. And that is what is going to lead me to this week's Top 5 Live, because this week's Top 5 Live is going to take us back into the Walt Disney World theme parks, because this week we're going to talk about our top 5 audio animatronics in Walt Disney World. Now, I want to be clear before we even get started, because when you hear top 5 audio animatronics, these are not, I'm not thinking about attractions that have audio animatronics figures, but these are actually the audio animatronic figures themselves. And look, when we talk about audio animatronics, we're talking about technology that really is like 50 some odd years old, right? The technology, audio animatronic technology, is more than 50 years old, but I'm not coming at this purely from a technology perspective. These are not the most technologically advanced audio animatronics. It's actually more so about, it's the life that's breathed into them, right? It's going to be, yes, it's going to be the tech itself, but it's going to be about the personality. It's going to be about how they contribute to storytelling, a lot of different factors as well. So we're going to get right into my top 5 audio animatronics in Walt Disney World. I, of course, want to hear your thoughts, your opinions. I'm going to go through these relatively quickly because I certainly want to hear your thoughts as well. And coming in at number 5 is one of those technologically advanced audio animatronic figures, and he's Hondo Ohnaka from Smuggler's Run. He is the Weequay Smuggler from Smuggler's Run, and I will tell you that the very first time that I rode that attraction and I stepped into that pre-show area, I looked up and I said, that's not an animatronic. There's a dude in that costume. Like, there's no way that the fluidity and the emotion that you can see from a distance on Hondo Ohnaka's face, there's no way that could be something that is artificial. And I had to sort of look, very carefully to make sure that it wasn't a cast member in the mask. And the reality comes not just from his articulation of his arms or the movement of his torso or the pointing of his fingers or even his mouth, but the way his eyes move, the way his hair flows. It's brilliantly done. And I think, again, from a purely technology character perspective, Hondo Ohnaka, he almost had to make the list. Now, the next one on my list may be the subject of controversy. I debated very hard about putting this little guy on, taking this little guy off, but for me, he had to make the list because number 4 is Olaf. And I'm talking about Olaf from the Frozen attraction, obviously in Norway. And Olaf had to make the list, right? He had to make the list because he is so incredibly lifelike. And I know we're talking about a character that was represented in animated form, but incredibly rich and detailed animated form. This audio animatronic is the movie brought to life. More so, it's very much the character brought to life. So even Becky Mankey says, I was stunned the first time I saw him. Look, and I'm going to tell you, like, Olaf is, he may not be the only one, but he is, a representative audio animatronic figure of Epcot. There were other ones I almost wished I could put on the list. I was like, but Olaf audio animatronic, wins to a certain degree in a lot of ways in terms of audio animatronics in Epcot Center. So number 4 had to be there. And you can debate where he belongs on or off this list. But moving on, I'm seeing some other love of Olaf coming through in the chat. So I dig it. I dig that a lot of you also agree. Isaac says Olaf's a great mix of traditional animatronics and projections, much better than some of the other animatronics. And I think part of the reason why, too, is he is more animatronic than he is projection, while some figures, like in Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, I think are more projection than they are animatronic. And this is a top 5 live audio animatronics in the parks. And number 3 is the Enchanted Tiki Room birds. And you're like, Mangello, how do you put Olaf and the technologically advanced Hondo Onaka, and then you follow that up and you eclipse them at number 3 with the Enchanted Tiki Room birds? You better believe it. And these guys almost bumped up to 2. And I'm going to tell you why. They, too, had to be on the list because it truly is where it all began. The Tiki Birds and Walt, like, nuff said, fight me on this one. Go ahead. You cannot have this conversation without putting the Tiki Birds on the list. We can do a whole discussion about what this venue in Disneyland was supposed to be. We can tell the story of Walt going and traveling and finding this bird. I'm sure you know the story. He found this little animatronic bird in an antique shop, brought it back, they reverse engineered it, and that really is what brought us to where we are. And I think that you cannot have this list without Tiki Birds. Look, I almost made the Tiki Birds number 1. Like, I'm not going to lie, there was a little part of me that was from a purely, origin story status and Walt Disney status. I wanted to put the Tiki Birds number 1, but I did need to give some of the other animatronic figures their due. For example, moving on. So after number 3, number 2 on the list is a little bit of a twofer, but you can't have one without the other, because Benjamin Franklin and Mark Twain from the American Adventure absolutely also need to be on this list. Now, because you need to keep in mind, too, that this technology, which is why I use this picture, this technology goes back to 1982. They're using reel-to-reel. They're programming these manually. But the technology at the time, and still to this day, is not only some of the only places that you see it, but remarkably impressive. Ben Franklin looks like he walks up the stairs. Mark Twain smokes a cigar, and the two gentlemen shake each other's hands near the end of the attraction. Plus, from a personality perspective, there's a rapport between the two of them. There's great humor between the two of them. I think there's and part of the reason why they're here is because of the humanity of the characters. Benjamin Franklin and Mark Twain, the performances that the voice actors put in, the technology, the costuming, every single part of it. Again, this was one, too, that I certainly could have put in a lot of different locations. But for a lot of different reasons, I feel... look, the American Adventure remains still a must-do. And if you ever have the opportunity to take... It's called Backstage Magic now. If you're ever able to take that 7.5, 8 hour Backstage Magic tour, I took it last year. You go, spoiler alert, you go to the American Adventure backstage. You see what is affectionately known as the War Wagon, and you see how these audio animatronics are brought to life from backstage. It is a remarkable technological marvel that, again, was created and has not really changed since 1982. A big reason why they are so high on the list, too, is because the age of the technology itself. And coming in at number 1, you know her, you love her. I was almost reluctant to give her her rightful spot, purely from a sentimental point of view. Right, and I'll explain why, but I cannot ignore the technological wonder that is the Navi Shaman of Songs. Ma'ewa Ma'ewa. You're hearing it in your head. You know what I'm talking about. I have, admittedly, I have no emotional connection to her, to the film, to the attraction itself, but I have a connection to the animatronic. Why? Because she is grand in size, right? So if she was standing, which is the way she was originally planned, was she was going to be standing up. She'd be about 9-10 feet tall. They felt it was going to be a little bit intimidating to smaller guests like myself. But if you watch very closely, it's very easy to sort of get wrapped up in the grace and the fluidity of her armatures and the movement of her arms and her fingers and her face. But if you watch closely, you almost feel like she's making eye contact with you. And it's an eye contact that's like kept and not broken. And that is obviously incredibly deliberate. And there's something that is mesmerizing about watching her. And again, that fluidity, that gracefulness that she has makes you feel like she is alive. And I think she is a remarkable technological feat, which is why she's number one. I think she has to be number one. And I know maybe that attraction isn't your favorite attraction, and I wish it was longer the way it was originally planned to be, but you cannot deny, and Derek, I agree with you, good things come in short sizes. I'm with you, brother. You cannot deny how impressive this figure is. And when the parks open again and when you go back, as easy as it is to be transfixed on her arms and even just the artistry of the beadwork, try and just watch her eyes and make a connection to her eyes as if she was a living creature. And it's I think it's remarkable how that was done. So the Navi shaman of songs has to make the list. And you see that I do have not one, not two, not three, not four, but 5 honorable mentions, because I think each one needs to be on for different reasons. Mr. Potato Head is not only the first character that removes his ear, but this was the first time we saw the technology really of the projection of the eyes. Don Rickles' personality comes through in a character who is quote-unquote made of plastic but can emote with his eyes, with his mustache, and with his mouth. Certainly Captain Jack Sparrow, when he was introduced to some excitement, some controversy after the wild success of the film, he too, the first time you ride that attraction, you see him and say, it looks like Johnny Depp is standing in this attraction with me. I think the image that I selected where he is standing by the dressmaker shop, you can easily be convinced that there is a real person standing there. Hopper from It's Tough to Be a Bug. This too, maybe it's not your favorite attraction. Maybe the running around bug thing gives you the heebie-jeebies, but he was at the time the most advanced A100 audio animatronic figure, but I think he's still impressive because of its size, because of his movement. There's no way I was not going to include John the Dad from Carousel of Progress. While he may not be the most advanced, he is not just our narrator and our guide, but there's something, I want to say something fatherly about him, because there is, and there's something comforting about seeing Dad and his progression through the years at Carousel of Progress. Again, it goes back to Walt, so yeah, there's some sentimental part of Lou Mongello that's putting him in there. And look, you may or may not agree with me, but the Yeti has to be on here. And it's a shame, absolutely, that he no longer works the way he was designed and supposed to. But if you ever saw the Yeti, when that attraction opened, and that huge sweeping arm comes up over, like close to your head, it feels, it's a sensation that you get on that attraction that you don't get anywhere else. And it's a shame. And I wish like that they could find a way to repair him without having to pull down the mountain, because that's where it's going to come, because the infrastructure that needed to be built around him in order to allow him to do that makes it such so that they cannot fix him without sort of tearing apart the mountain. I think that is actually going to come. I think that they are finding a way to do that. And because now they have, Pandora up and running, and they're going to have maybe some more attractions coming into that park, so you're not going to lose, your only e-ticket attraction, which at the time it really sort of was. I think the Yeti will be restored to its former glory, and watching videos online cannot replicate the feeling, especially if you're in the front row, when you sort of see this, it's a paw, this gigantic paw sort of sweeping past your face. Really, really well done. It's an absolute shame that guests are not able to see that now. But I believe that that John, Hopper, Mr. Potato Head, Captain Jack, and the Yeti all need to be on the list. I know there are other ones that I missed, some whom are extinct. Look, I thought about putting Sunny Clips on the list. There's a few others that I wanted to include here as well, but this is all part of the fun of these lists, is comparing and contrasting all of our lists and seeing who you would put where. And I really want to know, for you, who is your number one audio animatronic in Walt Disney World? Terry Cincinnati, I know you love the Yeti because of who built him, but I want to know, what do you think of my list? Who would you put as number one? I will post this graphic in the Box People group, and then do me a favor, tag and invite your friends to come and share their opinion. That's one of the things I love about these lists, right? I try and pick things that hopefully we all have an opinion on. We've all seen an audio animatronics figure, and wait, what did I say I was going to do next week? I completely forgot already. That's why I need you to email me, because I'm old and easily forgetful. So I did see some love for former attractions. Kate Wallace will say Abraham Lincoln in. I think Abraham Lincoln can certainly make it. I think there's a bunch of audio animatronics. If you pay close attention to Hall of Presidents, and even again just some of the subtle movements that each of them make, they are certainly impressive. Kate Wallace, Navi, Shamia songs, C-3PO from Star Tour. So Chris, I didn't put C-3PO on there because there's no facial expression. His range of movement is relatively limited because of the character that he is. I know, Brett, I did not put Sunny on the list, and again, there was no mention of food anywhere on that list. So Sunny Eclipse would have been the thing that connected me to it. James Taylor, the redhead pirate from Pirates of the Caribbean. So I thought about putting Red on there. The Auctioneer was on and then off the list. And if you want to hear a very funny story about the Auctioneer, you need to go back and listen to my interview with Alice Davis in her home, telling the story of the Auctioneer as only Alice Davis could do. But I just, the beauty and the curse of a top 5 list is I don't have the ability to squeeze in as many as I do when I do a top 10 list. So the Auctioneer didn't make it, and Red didn't make it. And part of the reason Red didn't make it for me is it's probably a personal thing, right? I just don't have a history and a connection to Red the way I do with some of the other characters as well. Jerry Applegate, hey brother, I hope you're doing well, man. The Wicked Witch, at the time, she was an incredibly realistic character. She was, when she was built, the A100, she was the first A100. She was the most advanced animatronic. And again, if you sort of watched the way her arms would sort of flail while she was holding onto the broom, there was a sense of realism that the Wicked Witch had. Jim Murphy, Mr. Potato Head, was on he made the honorable mention list. He didn't make the actual final list, but he did make the, let me pull this up again. He did make the honorable mention list. So a lot of love for Jim Orowski. I don't think she meant to be naughty. I think that's just that's exactly how it happened. So Bill Daniel 5 is very challenging. I saw a lot of love for Lumiere in Enchanted Tales with Belle. Again, it's where, who would I take off the list to include Lumiere? And I don't know that I don't know that I could. I don't know that I could take. Yeah, everybody that's on the list for me deserves pretty solidly to be on the list. And yeah, Matthew. So the Tiki Birds are there not for quantity. They're there because we would not be having this conversation without them, right? You need to sort of. I hope we all, don't lose sight that it started with a mouse. I think we all hopefully don't lose sight that it started with, a little robotic bird that Walt Disney bought. So the Tiki Bird was the first use of animatronics, and I think, for me, they deserve the respect of being on the list. So, and Terry Cincinnati says, you can't do a top 10 on a live show because it would be a 3-hour show, a 3-hour tour or a 3-hour show. So, yeah, Becky, I did not include Disneyland. We want to start talking about audio animatronics and figures and start looking to international parks. It's a whole different conversation, right? As to who may or may not make it or get off that list. Maybe I'll have to do a discussion of. Maybe I'll do top 5 attractions. Somebody write this one down too. Top 5 attractions. Top 5 Disney attractions not in the United States. Oh, it was a cruise line thing. Top 5 something. Top 5 places. Somebody please email me this because I'm going to forget for next week. Top 5 places on Disney Cruise Line. Zach Brown, Henry the Bear was originally on my list because I think Henry's personality comes through, and I think it's a testament to its, by today's standards, relatively low tech in terms of what he can do, but the way all those figures were programmed, the way that they're able to emote as non-human characters, he was one of the first 2 or 3 I put on my list, and unfortunately, the more I thought about it and started going park by park, he got eliminated from the list. So, Becky, thank you for emailing that. I appreciate it. Jason Knapp says we need a Humphrey the Bear animatronic. We also need to introduce people to who Humphrey the Bear is, for those who have not seen. I'm trying to think if the Humphrey the Bear, if you can see him on Disney Plus. So, Chris, I've heard about the Castle Dragon. I was actually talking to somebody the other day about... I did an interview for a UK podcast, and we were talking about the dragon. So we had plans. Becky and I were talking about plans to go to Paris, but we'll see. So, Jason, I know he's in Wilderness Lodge. He's on the totem in Wilderness Lodge, but I don't know where else you could possibly see Humphrey the Bear. And Brian Walton, Lightning McQueen from Cars. I thought about it, but again, too, it's more projection and turntable than it is Lightning McQueen itself. That's why I would have to think the technology is impressive, but it's the technology, it's not the figure itself. So the technology used out in Radiator Springs Racers in California is fantastic. I don't know that I would pick any one of those cars specifically because it's the technology that I'd be hanging on to as opposed to the personality of each one, if that makes any sense to you. So Kevin Lively says he's up there with Ranger Woodlore and the Donald Shorts. Kevin, thank you so much, man. Hope to see you soon, man. I really hope we can make that happen soon. So Dan Mulca would love to take a picture with the Wall-E robots. As somebody who has a little Wall-E right behind him, I would as well. They actually had built a working Wall-E robot, and I think they had him out, not in the parks in California. I think they brought him to a premiere or the studios or something. There are some reasons why he has not been present in the parks, but I personally would love a Wall-E meet and greet. He was at D23 Expo in maybe it was 2009 or 2011, maybe 2011. They had him there because I did an interview with Wally. If somebody can find that and take a screenshot of it, I sort of interviewed Wally. I remember he was on this sort of little red carpet area there. Very, very impressive how they're able to bring these animated figures to life in 3 dimensions. So is Buzz Lightyear an honorable mention? He did not make the cut. Buzz Lightyear did not make the cut. As much as I love him in the queue and the finale of the Space Ranger Spin attraction, he did not. He did not make it. So somebody's going to get cut somewhere, and I feel bad. I don't want to hurt any auto animatronics feelings, but so Push the Trash Can I've seen mentioned. Muppet Mobile Labs. Lucky the Dinosaur could certainly have made the list because of the groundbreaking technology, but one, they aren't present anymore, and I tried to stay away from extinct audio animatronics. They were limited in their presence in the parks. I remember Muppet Mobile Labs and Epcot left, came back for a while. Lucky was around for a little while, but not so much so that, although he was in California too at one point. But I just don't think that either of those, because they aren't sort of permanent and are now extinct, could not make the list. So, and don't be surprised if you see Push again. I know nothing, but don't be surprised if you don't see Push once again. I love me some Push. I did an interview with Push at a Meet of the Month during Marathon Weekend. God, that was probably 2009, somewhere. Push came to... Was anybody there when Push showed up at a Meet of the Month at the Tomorrowland? It was the Noodle Station, I think, at the time. But yeah, Push came over and said hello. Debbie Anderson says, Waldorf and Statler at Muppet Vision. I thought about them too. Again, they are animatronic puppets, and I almost I still don't really feel that they rise to the level of, from even just a technology perspective, of some of the other. It's hard to put Waldorf and Statler on there next to Hondo Ohnaka and Olaf and the Shaman. Again, taking some of the other ones out, like the Tiki Birds, but talk to Push in Hong Kong Disneyland. Oh, Stevens, good to see you. Hong Kong Disneyland. Gosh, Hong Kong seems like a long time ago. Seems a long, long time ago. Becky, remember like the scary walkthrough in Hong Kong? And remember the Avengers walkthrough in Hong Kong? I have to find that video and post that again. That was one of the most impressive things. I should do, somebody else write this down too, top 5 extinct. I'll do an extinct attraction. I'll do an extinct show, maybe an extinct attraction, show, parade, and characters. Top 5 extinct characters. I don't want to give that one away because I'll pull some relative obscura out for that one. Tom Morrow 2.0, Ham and Eggs, Ken Jennings. Yeah, we could have some fun with that. But if somebody please could write these down, because I'll absolutely and completely forget. So, Martin Shergold from the UK, my friend, I miss you. I hope you and your family are safe. Gosh, Japan seems like it was a long time ago, doesn't it? I know it's 1:30. Thank you for staying up. I appreciate it. So, does your Jerry Lewis move and therefore consider it a... No, Jerry Lewis, hey lady in Spaceship Earth, which, by the way, we're going to get back for a little while for all of you that prayed that it wouldn't go away. He does not move, nor does the funky disco chick on the opposite side. I don't know what her name is. Terry Gaff, my friend, the Jungle Cruise guys up the pole, animatronics with a point. Very true. Again, there were ones I wanted to include for their comedic value, for their technology value, but they needed to all sort of be the full package in order to make the list of top 5. And for those of you who missed it, there is, you can go back and check it out and see what you think of the list, my reasoning and rationale for them as well. And again, I want to hear why you think maybe a different one should be on the list too. So stay tuned. Next week, we'll have another top 5 live as well. So Zach Brown wants the dog from Living in the Land. Zach Brown, what is the name and number on the Living with the Land mailbox? In that in that farmhouse scene, what is the name? Don't go doing the Googles. What is the name and the number on the farmhouse mailbox? What's the name of the kid animatronic who was stolen? Buzzy. So Buzzy, again, the figure was wonderful, but I mean, you can't even remember his name, and that's not a knock on you, but the figure itself was not so memorable that I think he rises to a top 5. So B Jones, RFD 82. There you go. Kylo Ren and Rise of Resistance is awesome. He is. I agree. I think all the animatronic figures in there are exceptional. Again, technology-wise, fluidity, movement, without a doubt. But I still think they were missing some of the other requisite elements to make it a top 5 all-time, current figure. So, but yes, it's B Jones. It's B Jones 82 for those of you who were. I just sort of came up with that as I was thinking. Caleb wants Rover from Rover. By the way, Caleb, over the years at Carousel of Progress has gone by many different names. Maybe that will be tomorrow's daily Disney trivia question over on the Insta. For those of you who are following me on Instagram at instagram.com/LouMangello, every day I do a new daily Disney trivia multiple choice question. I try and make it easy for you. Current attractions, extinct attractions. Maybe I drop in a little bit of music here and there. All I need to do is follow me on Instagram at instagram.com/LouMangello, and make sure you have your notifications and all that kind of stuff turned on. No prizes to be won, but lots of fun. And if you can, do me a favor and spread the word, share that out as well. So it is 8:35 already. Man, time flies when you are having fun. Really, I look forward to this. I look forward to Wednesday nights with you guys all the time. I appreciate you so very much. Yes, and Stan Solo, if you came in late, happy Canada Day. May your poutine be flowing and your ketchup-flavored potato chips be bountiful. I think that's what the motto of Canada Day is. Something about poutine and ketchup-flavored chips. And sorry. Daily Trivia is a contest between my friends and I. We love it. Thank you so much, Caitlin Stubbs. Caitlin, I think I owe you an email or a message. I'm way behind, and today I got way behind. I was unfortunately out all day and did not expect it to be. So I'm catching up. If somebody's emailed me, I promise I am getting there as fast as possible. So, Bill Danu, thank you so much, brother. It's so good to see you. Hey, Wilder, man. It was great to see you not so long ago. I'm going to be back again, hopefully in the next week or so. So, you're a good man, brother. I appreciate you so much, and you know how to put a smile on my face every time I pop in. So, Chris Chapman, I have not gotten wasabi Doritos yet. I am trying to find someone somewhere who could make that magic happen. I'm a sucker for like the international chips and different flavors. I was talking to a friend of mine the other day who said they make a Wendy's Baconator Pringles. So my quest tomorrow is to find Wendy's Baconator Pringles. I also believe that there are pickle flavor Doritos, which I think are maybe only available in the Northeast, but I need to try those as well. So if you live in some place where they've got like funky chips, I'm a funky chip kind of guy. You send them to me and I'll send you something like, I don't know, audio. Oh, speaking of which, by the way, audio tours, still just $10 because why not? Listen, if you can't get to the world, I want to try and bring it to you. Imagine you and I walking through Magic Kingdom, land by land, holding a hand, skipping and talking about history, details, secrets, stories, some of the overlooked parts of Magic Kingdom that I think will enhance your enjoyment and appreciation of the parks. Look, I'll even take you back in time. That's dream sequence music. I'll take you back in time to Mickey's Toontown Fair, and all these are sort of snapshots of time. So they're all just $10 at www.radio.com/shop. So go and check it out. Zach Brown says, what did I make you try? Ghost pepper. I don't think they were ghost pepper Doritos. They were ghost pepper something. Oh, you want to try something really hot? Try those lime green bag. There's Taki. So Taki is sort of like it's a rolled tortilla chip. Like even the avocado, even the guacamole ones, they have ones that'll just melt your little face off. So if you like them hot, go try some of those super hot Takis. And you know who likes chips and snacks and coffees and desserts? Everybody. I'm speaking for everybody in our amazing family. Really, it's a clubhouse. Box people is almost a misnomer. We really are a clubhouse. And if you are not part of the community conversation, please come by and join. You have made such an amazingly warm, wonderful, welcoming place that everybody is really, hopefully, feels like they are home. And that really is, if you want to find out how you can help the show, that's the best thing that you can do is by helping to spread the word. This week's show, if you liked our top 10 villains, do me a favor, share that link out on your Facebook profile. If you're a member of maybe like a Disney group and they think it's cool, I think it's fine when you do it in my group. I hope other people feel the same way. Share it out there. And more importantly, invite your friends to come and be part of the community. You can also help by joining the WDW Radio Nation and get exclusive rewards every month. It's optional, obviously, but it's a great way to help the show. And don't forget that a portion of the proceeds do go to our Dream Team project. It directly benefits the Make-A-Wish Foundation of America. And look, if there's some way that I can help you, please do me a favor and let me know, and go to LouMongello.com, and I'm happy to try and help you any way I possibly can. Also, don't forget that this and every Sunday, until the garage is empty, really, there are 10, count them, 10 new auctions of things this is just stuff from my personal collection that I've been hoarding, really, since I was a little kid. There's Disney stuff going back to the 70s. There's some Marvel stuff in there, a lot of Star Wars stuff, a few Star Trek things here and there, everything from books to artwork to theme park collectibles, a little bit of everything. And there's also some exclusive stuff that you can't find and was never available on the shelves at some of these places as well. So www.radio.com/eBay. Every auction starts at just $1 and there's no reserve. So you win something for $2, God bless you. It's yours. And again, if you could just help spread the word, very, very much obliged and appreciated. I'm going to let you guys go and enjoy the rest of your night, the rest of your week. Again, please don't forget that I will be live for the grand reopening annual pass holder preview on Thursday, July 9th at 8:30. I'll also be live from Magic Kingdom on Saturday, the 11th, and I'll also be live on Wednesday, July 15th from Epcot Center throughout the day, and then we'll probably just stay and do the live show from there as well. So please not only come by and join, but if you can, spread the word, let your friends know, invite them to be part of it as well. Also, don't forget, if you're thinking about coming on our Marvel Day at Sea cruise, you really have nothing to lose because you do have that flexibility in your planning. It's going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to be a great opportunity for us to get together again one more time because, man, I really do miss you guys so very much. Again, if you want to find out more about the WDW Radio Nation, all you need to do is go to WDWRadioNation.com. Again, it's a great way to help the show and for me to give you some cool stuff, hopefully, in return as well. And look, I have been a firm believer in this my whole life. Positivity is contagious, and we are in a time where there's a lot of just bad, sad stuff happening and going on everywhere. And I only ask you to try and find the good and to pay that forward. And I'm going to give you just one last reminder, and it's not a preach, it's not a soapbox, it's a personal request that when the 9th comes, when the 11th comes, when the 15th comes and these parks reopen, be patient, be understanding, be kind, which you should be all the time to one another. And if there's something that I can do for you to thank you for the joy and the blessings and the gift that you give me of your love and your attention and your friendship and your time, please just let me know. We are all in this together, and I love and appreciate you really now more than ever. So I look forward to seeing you again next week. Wednesday night we'll be back here again, and then Thursday for the reopening of Magic Kingdom. So I hope you can join with us. I hope you invite and bring a friend as well. So until next time, I hope that this really is your best week ever. Choose the good. Be kind to one another. Love you. See ya. Oh, and by the way, have a safe, happy, healthy, really extra safe 4th of July. Whether you are in America, overseas, wherever, I hope you have a good 4th this weekend. Thanks. Bye. Happy Canada Day.